Kenric Meyer, number 22, US Drift. Here to give you a rundown of our weekend at Summit Point Motorsports Park for US Drift rounds 2 and 3. So Thursday night we started off getting the whole crew together. We went over to the supermarket, grabbed a bunch of food, camping supplies, started packing up the trailer, got all of our sleeping arrangements set up, basically fit 6 air-up mattresses in the back of the trailer. And from there we went and loaded up tires. Pretty much went over the car, nut and bolted everything, made sure all the fluids were topped off, and from there we all try to get a good night's rest.
Check it in. You have to.
Judges were throwing a pretty tough course at us. Basically, on entry was pretty wild. We were running a reverse bridge course of the Shenandoah circuit. I knew I really had to commit on that entry, and hopefully, if anything went wrong, just stay in it and pull myself out. And it happened a few times, but luckily I didn't stuff it. Ended up qualifying number 1 on Saturday.
Come take my hand and ran through playland. So high, too high, and the Chronicles. And it's all fun and games till somebody falls in love. But you already bought a ticket and there's no turning back now. Round and around like a horse on the carousel. We go, will I catch up to love?
So first qualifying run, scored a 94, which I didn't even hear about until later, right before my second run. And basically, after that first run, I thought it went pretty well. So for the second run, I figured I'd try to just go 4th gear and go a little bit crazier into it. Almost put it in the wall, went off in the grass just a hair, ran some cones over. So we kind of just rode that qualifying pass off. So in top 16 I had a bye run, which basically allowed me to just make a pass, just feel out the car again, feel out the track, and go right on to top 8, where I battled Chris with a 2-tone 240. And basically it started off with me leading, and I put down one of my better runs, I thought, but he was glued to my door, so there's really not much I could do with that.
Chris keeping things together. Here we go, this should be a timeout. Chris dropping a quick little tire, but holding it on.
So on my follow run, heading back to the grid, my spotter was telling me that I needed to be right on his door. Right on entry, at the big sweeper, he started pulling on me, and at that point, he gapped me pretty well. And once the track started tightening up, I closed the gap and was right there on him, but it just wasn't enough to overcome the DeFusco first run. So at that point we got knocked out of the top 8 and ended up placing 5th overall. Packed up everything, basically took the car, all of our camping supplies, the trailer, the truck, and all the mini bikes, and with the crew we headed over to Washington Circuit for round 3 on Sunday.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want?
Sunday morning we woke up pretty early and went to the driver's meeting. Again, the crew helped me out, got everything hooked up on the car. And then we went out for practice, and everything was pretty much dialed in. Car was running great, and about the 8th lap of the day, dumped the clutch in 3rd around the last turn, and I had my stickiest tires on. We had the lowest pressure in them, and it ended up popping an axle. So after that, we took the car back to the pit, jacked it up, and at this point we didn't really know what happened. So we're spinning the tires, trying to figure out what exactly went wrong. The car still moved under its own power. So once we realized the one tire was spinning, one tire wasn't, and I had a welded diff in there, we realized something was wrong. So we pulled the diff out and basically figured out that the output flanges wouldn't come out, and so it seemed like the one on the left had welded itself into the diff, which I've never heard of happening to anyone. So we were running around for hammers, and shout out to Mateen for lending us a big sledgehammer. Trying to pull that apart was a nightmare, but the crew worked hard, and after about 15 minutes of working on it, we couldn't get it done. So we don't really have much of an option but to go up and ask Rapper Dan to borrow his car. And big shout out to him for letting me borrow that car. It was a S13 with nitrous, basically stock KA. I had actually literally never even sat in a 240 in my life before Sunday. I just had to, stay in it, 3rd gear, most of the track, 2nd gear for the tighter section of it. After the next driver's meeting, we found out that we didn't make the show. So went back to the pits and got everything cleaned up, returned Rapper's car, and returned everyone's tools who had hopped in and tried to help us get the car back together. And we decided to just head out early. It had been a long weekend, everyone was drained, and we still had fun, but at this point we were just over it, so we decided to head back to Philly pretty early. I'd like to thank SLR Speed with the steering wheel kit on this car, BC Racing with the custom coilover setup on it, and Tarmac Apparel for providing all of us with nice clothes to wear on the pits. Special thanks to Tanner Munson of Munson Motorsports for building this entire car. Really provided me with an amazing chassis and power plant, and I'm really glad to be driving this in the US Drift season.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way.